Why do they need the rattle?
We think that rattlesnakes evolved in the central plateau of Mexico to the south of us. And where they lived, there were a lot of other big animals like, camels and bison, horses, that sort of thing. They didn't want to be stepped on, so they needed a means to warn the animals that they lived around that the snake was there. So it's a warning device. Now, like I said with the king snake, many snakes vibrate their tail, but for some reason the rattlesnake developed the rattle that gives it its name.
Is it one of the most venomous snakes?
I would rank it up there with some of the more venomous snakes in the world. Yeah, I would. Many people think that these snakes are just mean, bad-tempered, and even evil. But they're in my experience, they're very timid creatures that they only want to be left alone. Now, I want you to think for a minute, if you're walking down the trail and you run into a rattlesnake in the trail, what is he seeing? He sees an animal that is way too big to eat and a predator. He's far more afraid of you than you are of him, so all he wants you to do is let him alone, and if you'll do that, you'll have no problem with him. He's not going to come after you. Why would he do that? You're way too big to eat. Because they have no legs, they can't jump. They can strike about a third to a half their body length, but for the most part, they're very mild-mannered snakes that, unless you mess with them, they simply will go the other way. They're very, very timid snakes.
Are they fast?
No, they're not very fast at all. That's why one of the reasons that venom is so important in catching prey is they have to sneak up on it and strike it, inject the venom, and let the venom do its work. Because they're not fast, neither do they constrict. So if you just basically stay 4 or 5 feet away from any rattlesnake you meet in Nevada, you're well out of strike range. You can take the pictures that you want, you can admire it, watch it, and that way you get a chance to see one of these animals that is not too frequently seen, because again, these are primarily out at night. But one of the real advantages this snake has in terms of nighttime hunting is it can see an infrared image. It's kind of like, have you ever seen the movie Predator? With Schwarzenegger? Remember the Predator and those weird color pictures that it saw? Those are heat images. And this snake can do the same thing. It has 2 special organs in its head that allows it to pick up the heat from other animals, and so it can sense, the warmer areas versus the cooler areas and be able to zero in on the prey, even if it can't really see it that well. It's a very, very advanced snake. But a lot of people are very much afraid that if you get bitten by one of these, you're automatically going to die. And nothing could be further from the truth. In the United States, out of every 1,000 venomous snake bites that we get, less than 1 person dies. A lot of misinformation about these fellows. They're certainly potentially dangerous, but they're not mean critters that some folks would have you believe.
Wow, how do you like those reptiles now? When you learn just a little bit about them, they're really not icky at all. We hope you enjoyed them enough so that if you ever see a wild one, you definitely won't try to touch it. Enjoy watching it from a safe distance and discovering something new about it without doing it any harm. Then it won't think, ew, a human. That's the way to respect, protect, and enjoy our desert.